I have a question for you. A question that perhaps we've never truly paused to think about seriously our entire lives. How does a man stay in his prime after 60 when his hair starts to gray, his back begins to ache, and the world no longer seems to pay as much attention to him as once did? If you've ever woken up feeling exhausted, looked at yourself in the mirror and felt like a duller version of who you once were, then you're not alone. Many men after the age of 60 have felt the same, have thought that vitality and presence were things only reserved for youth. But that's not the truth. Masculine presence doesn't disappear with age. It just changes form. It's no longer about bulging biceps or a confident stride. It becomes the clarity in your eyes, the calm in your voice, and above all, the strength to love yourself and the person beside you with deep dignity. Today, I'll share with you 5 simple but incredibly practical secrets that have helped many men after 60 maintain their presence and vitality. No medications, no gym memberships, no gimmicks. Just you and a bit of determination to start over from the smallest things. Because I believe this. A man is never truly old if he still holds on to a little belief in himself. Have you ever noticed? A man starts to lose his vitality not because of a major event, but because of morning after morning of waking up without a desire to do anything, waking up feeling heavy, waking up without a reason to get out of bed. And that's when everything starts to go downhill. I once met a man named Walter, 68 years old, retired for 5 years. He used to be a high school teacher, a respected one, a devoted husband. But after his kids moved out and his wife passed away, he began letting everything go. Every morning, he would just sit in a chair, sip cold coffee, and feel like he was slowly disappearing. Until one day, a friend said something simple to him. Instead of letting the morning drag you down, let it lift you up. And he began to change, starting from one small thing. Every morning, he woke up at 6:30, opened the window. I took a deep breath, walked gently around the garden for 15 minutes, and made himself a warm glass of water with a few drops of lemon. That's it. No grand gestures, no drama. But 3 weeks later, Walter told me, I feel like I'm living again. Each morning is no longer the start of fatigue, but an opportunity to begin again. Vitality starts from that, not from the gym, but from how you rise each morning, from how you begin the day, with surrender or with intention. Because you know what? The way you start today will determine the kind of man you'll be 10 years from now. You may no longer run as fast as you did at 30. Your shoulders may not be as sturdy as they were at 40. But if your mind remains sharp, calm, and steady, you are still a man who has held onto his dignity. I once sat down for a conversation with Mr. Raymond, a retired naval officer in his 70s. He told me, back then my strength was in my firm grip. Now, it's in my ability to stay rational when everything around me changes. People often think masculinity is about appearance or physical strength. But true masculine grace lies in not losing your temper easily, not letting the little things throw you off course, and still holding on to compassion, even when the world treats you with indifference. Men don't decline because of their bodies. They decline because they allow fear and disappointment to take over their minds. But you don't have to let that happen. Instead, you can train your mind each day with simple practices. Write down 3 things you're grateful for each morning. Read 10 pages of a book, even if it's just a few minutes before bed. Practice deep breathing when you feel stressed. Mr. Raymond told me, I may not be able to fight anymore, but I can control my emotions better than any 30-year-old out there. And I believe him. Because true strength lies in your ability to stay calm in the middle of the storms of old age. You know what saddens me most? When I see an older man losing his vitality, it's not the gray hair, not the slower walk, but the loss of spark in his eyes. That look no longer carries fire. And one of the biggest reasons for that is how we treat our meals. I once met Mr. Frank, a 66-year-old man from Ohio. He used to be a mechanic, strong, healthy, but after retiring, things changed quickly. Meals are just about filling up now. I just eat whatever. I don't care anymore, he told me. and his body reflected that. Dull skin, cloudy eyes, a bloated belly, and chronic fatigue. But after his wife passed away, he began to change. Not for anyone else, but because he wanted to reclaim a part of the man he once was. He started cooking for himself. Nothing fancy, a boiled egg, a small handful of walnuts, and a glass of warm lemon water for breakfast. Grilled salmon and greens with olive oil for lunch. And at night, instead of sweets and TV, he ate something light and walked 15 minutes around the neighborhood. 6 months later, when I saw him again, he was smiling, and I could see the fire in his eyes had returned. Because you see, eating well doesn't just help you live longer. It helps you live right. Right with the man you once were. A man who dared to dream, who loved deeply, who fought for his family, and who weathered life's storms with his head held high. You don't need a strict diet. You just need to eat like you respect yourself. You can eat clean, exercise regularly, drink plenty of water, and even try every testosterone-boosting trick in the book. But if you sleep the wrong way or don't sleep deeply enough, then it's like pouring water into sand. Let me tell you about Mr. Thomas, a 66-year-old retired PP teacher. He still jogs every morning, eats low-carb, and avoids alcohol completely. Yet in the past few months, he clearly felt himself losing vitality, no longer interested in intimacy, more forgetful, easily irritable. When he came to see me, we didn't start with hormones or medication. We started with sleep. It turned out Thomas hadn't slept well since his wife passed. He would drift off around 2 a.m. and wake up at 6. And according to medical research, that is one of the leading causes of testosterone decline in men over 60. Did you know that 90% of your testosterone is produced while you're in deep sleep? Not just when you're lying in bed, but when you reach stable, uninterrupted REM sleep. So if you stay up late, toss and turn, or wake frequently in the night, no matter how many supplements you take, you won't see results. After a month of adjusting his sleep, going to bed before 10:30, no screen time after 9, and sleeping in a dark room, Thomas came back smiling. I had no idea that just sleeping could make me feel this good. I woke up this morning and felt like I did 20 years ago. I want you to understand this. Sleep isn't just rest, it's the time your body regenerates its power. And if you seriously want to regain strength, vitality, and presence, start tonight with the right kind of sleep. You know, after talking to hundreds of men over 60, I've realized something. Vitality doesn't just come from testosterone, sleep, or diet. It comes from how you see yourself. I once spoke with Mr. Frank, a 70-year-old early retiree who used to be a senior executive at a finance company. Physically, he was still in good shape, his memory was fine. But when I asked how he felt about himself these days, he quietly shook his head. I feel like I'm not useful anymore. My wife is busy with the grandkids. My children have their own lives. I feel like I have been left behind. Frank's story is not unique. Many men after 60 feel worthless, not because their bodies are failing, but because their spirit has given up. But then I asked Frank, if your grandson asked you one day, "Grandpa, how do I become a man of strength?" what would you say? Frank laughed. And from that laugh, he began telling stories about intense negotiations, the principles he upheld throughout life, and the daily routines that kept him dignified and sharp. You see, Frank never lost his strength, was just waiting for him to remember who he really was. Holding your ground means not letting age convince you that you've lost your worth. You are still strong, still dependable, still full of experience. As long as you stand tall, raise your head, and live with purpose. Maybe you don't walk as quickly as you did at 30, but your steps now carry a steadiness, calm, and depth that only life experience can give. Remember this: a real man isn't measured by how many years he's lived, but by how he walks through each year with pride, kindness, and character. If you're finding your way back to yourself, then I hope after this video you'll pause, look in the mirror, and tell yourself, there's still so much left in me to live, to love, and to pass on. Because masculine strength after 60 never disappears if you have the courage to keep it alive in your mind and heart. If you've followed this far, leave a comment with just 2 words, "Still strong," so I know you're still carrying the fire inside. Dear friend, If there's one thing I hope you remember after this video, it's this. You never truly lost your strength. You just need to awaken it again. Whether you're 60, 70, or even 80, whether your knees have weakened, sleep has become restless, or you feel like a faded version of who you once were, all it takes is one action, one thought, one timely awakening, and you can return to the strongest version of yourself. You don't need to become someone else. You only need to come back to the man who once knew pride, who once knew how to love deeply, who once took responsibility, and who still has the courage to live with the full dignity of a grown man. I made this video not just to share health tips. I made it because I believe, and I've seen, that there are so many men out there waiting for a wake-up call, a companion on the journey, a signal to flip the switch on their life again. And if you've listened to me this far, I truly believe you are that man. The one who won't give up, who won't settle, who refuses to believe that old age means the end. Then leave me a comment, just one line. I'm still here, and I will come back stronger. And if this video sparked something in your heart, share it with a friend, a husband, a father, because maybe they need it just as much as you did. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because I'll continue sharing powerful journeys of health, vitality, and masculine energy after 60, for men who refuse to fade away. And remember, age may silver your hair, but never let it dull the fire in your eyes. Because those eyes, if they still hold belief and strength, will always be the clearest sign that you are still a man to be proud of, to yourself and to the ones you love.